committed very similar offenses, but their term is much shorter. These kids that we have in these facilities, that we're going to have moving forward in these facilities, will have a longer term stay. I want to talk about also when the governor made these decisions to do realignment, to realign Division of Juvenile Justice back. Part of the statute requires that all of these decisions be made in a kind of a realignment subcommittee. And very clearly in the statute, it articulates that probation will facilitate the subcommittee, but members from the subcommittee will be folks from education, mental health, from the courts. I want to acknowledge that we do have some subcommittee members here tonight. Luis Rodriguez is here from Public Defender's Office. Michael Dutton is here as Supervisor Barber's representative on the subcommittee. And then we have Crystal Fowler representing us from Laco tonight. So I share that because this truly is a collaboration between probation and our county partners. It's also a collaboration between, there's also community members that have been appointed by each of the board officers. So probation does not make any of these decisions in a vacuum. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We're effectively facilitating a larger discussion about the decisions that need to happen related to this population. So I wanted to make that abundantly clear that we're not sitting in our offices trying to determine the best possible course of action here. We have public meetings. We were meeting weekly for a time trying to get some planning done, but those are public meetings that you all can attend. Unfortunately, we're doing it virtually for safety reasons, but eventually we'll be in person moving forward. The next thing I want to highlight is sort of the feasibility study that took place. The county partnered with the County Department of Public Works and an architecture firm. This architecture firm, DLR, has designed juvenile facilities all over the country. So they looked at all of the open and available camp and juvenile hall sites and determined, based on a lot of different criteria, that there were some facilities that kind of rose to the top. When we looked at all of the different areas of feasibility, some of the things that we kind of reviewed had to do with capacity, availability of administrative space, proximity to security supports and services, emergency services, proximity to community colleges, proximity to other community resources and things like that. And we took the feedback that we got from the feasibility study as part of the discussion in the subcommittee. It wasn't the only thing that we looked at when we were determining where ultimately we kind of needed to finalize a series of sites. So I want to be very transparent that Page and Alphaball are on the final list, but there's been no determination at this point that these young people will end up at Page and Alphaball. And I also want to be clear about population. So as of tonight, we have 13 young men who have been ordered what we're calling secure track, which we don't love. That's the name that's in the statute. We're probably going to rename this population. But these are young men who would otherwise go up to the Division of Juvenile Justice. And at this point, we have 13 young men who have been ordered to secure track. And so the way that population will grow really depends on dispositional decisions. We know we have a handful of young men that are pending disposition now, but we believe that population will grow incrementally over the course of the next couple of years. And then ultimately, the reason that the governor did realign these services back to the county was the intent. They want to close the facilities, the Division of Juvenile Justice facilities at the state level. They want to do so for various reasons that we won't get into, but they will.
You're ruining the state.
Gavin Nielsen.
How old are these 13 young men?
So we'll get to all your public comments momentarily here.
Yeah.
The last
Everybody
thing
has
that I
right
want to share has to do with assessment. Again, these young men are currently currently in our juvenile hall.
How old are these 13
I
young
will
men?
not, ma'am, I'm not going to answer questions when you're shouting from the back. I'm not going to do that tonight.
How are you going to hear it?
So let me say this. We really, really hope that tonight will be as cordial as possible. We hope that the city here will conduct themselves well. We're going to hear from your mayor in a moment. We really are here to listen to you, but I will not respond to comments from folks shouting in the back. It's just not productive. Okay? Thank you.
I was shouting because I'm in the back. It's just a question. How old are these 13
Again,
young
ma'am,
men?
that's not the run of show here. Is we're going to give you an opportunity to provide a comment card, and you'll have an opportunity to come up to the microphone and share if you'd like to.
Takes 2 seconds to answer.
Folks, it will get to you if you don't yell.
So we will answer questions. So I'm going to stop because it's clear that people really want to be heard here. So if somebody hand the mic over, what's going to happen here is we're going to
continue to choose that way. This is not something that is, oh, well, we can counsel them. Bull. We're not going to be able to counsel them. They are beyond that. Their families are beyond that. Because if they had a strong family structure, like the family structures of most of the people that live in Laverne, they would not be in the camp. I guarantee you that. Because number one, the first time they came home, mom and dad would have kicked their butt. Okay? The second time they came home, it would have been worse than that. We don't tolerate it. Laverne is a safe place to live. We intend to keep it that way. And if you think 100, 100, and 100, that means 300 of these people within a mile of this city? No. No. There's one in San Dimas, there's 2 in Laverne. If you think you're going to put 100 in each one of them, you best be thinking again. And I encourage every person in this audience to get on the phone and call Catherine Barger's office tomorrow, and you let her know that you're not happy.
She's coming. She didn't want to yell.
Hi guys. So I came
Closer.
So I came here first. Primary concern was the safety of the city, and we are putting up a fight. So the answer is no.
No.
The answer is no. That's it. You can try what you really want. But listening to you guys, as a parent, I'm thinking, who is concerned about these kids you're talking about? As a parent, if your child does something who's 14, 15, 16-year-old, and you're sending him to reformation, and you're trying to heal them and give them better opportunities in life, you're going to put them with career criminals as a 25-year-old? Who is looking out for these kids? Who is the, I want to say idiot, but I won't. Thought it was a good idea to create a better future for these kids will be the path taking them with 18 to 25-year-old career criminal, and that's what they're going to learn from. Who's giving them role models? So basically, the politics of it, if you just look at the politics of it, you are failing the society. You're failing these kids, right? Yeah. And that's just sad. That's sad as a parent. Like, I cannot imagine a child making a mistake or a child committing a crime doesn't have a path to fix it, to correct himself, to get a path where he can have a better role models in life. You are failing them. Politicians are there to do politics. We are here to fight for our kids, for our society. So I hope you guys do the right thing by the children first, and by the city. The answer is no. We'll fight. Thank you.
Anthony Venti, next is Steve Duquette. And William Thorpe. Great.
brief. I don't want to be repetitive. We don't want to say the same things. I am also a former deputy sheriff for Los Angeles County. I've worked in the jail system. I'm somewhat familiar with it. We know that there are 4 levels of security. Minimum security, number 1, up to all the way maximum security, number 4. These kids that will be coming here are all, you would admit, maximum security, number 4. They're there because of the nature of their offense, number 1, and number 2, the amount remaining on their sentence, okay? So they're highly volatile kids. Now, I appreciate the probation department. I know you do wonderful things, but you will admit that your success rate with these kids is not great, nor is the success rate in the criminal system altogether. They're repetitive criminals. They get out and get out. One other thing I want to say is the location of this camp, you need to visit it. You think it's up in the foothills somewhere, well, it's very close to residential areas. Where I live, you can literally walk from that camp to my house in about 12 minutes. I do it daily. Drive my car up there. There's also a big staging area there where people come with their horses, horse trailers, staging for people with bikes, trail bikes, for hikers. They all park there. It's immediately across the street from this facility, okay? And families come with their kids. They hike on the trails there. From those trails, you can go from there all the way to Mount Baldy. It's a great system, and the other issue that I have is these kids that are coming here should be in a maximum 4-level place, not even building it up as you described is totally inadequate. These kids will get out. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when something significant happens in our community, and we don't want it.
I worked there from 2000 to 2007 as a PO and came back as a fireman to help train the kids at Camp Page. What I'd like all the citizens to know is that in the years I was a probation officer at those camps, we lost kids to escape an AWOL every single year. In fact, if you live north of Baseline, there's a fair chance I chased kids in and out of your yard. Those fences could not hold teenagers. They will not be able to hold young men. Violent offenders, 707 offenders. We already have, the County of Los Angeles has a very secure facility in Sylmar. It's 30 acres of land with multiple units, a college-like setting. It's already much more secure than the camps we have. There's no reason why that should not be the main focus of where we move these young men that we're calling.
Yes.
I have a question. Well, when I worked in the camps, the probation officers did not have any weapons to subdue riots. I was in several altercations there, major riots, and we had to call in the sheriffs. I'm wondering if there's going to be plans to arm these deputies in any way, or if it's still, they're just going to be barehanded. That's my question. That's it. We are going to be housing 707 offenders. Are we housing them now at the Camp Page? Sorry, we're not answering your questions. All right, well, that's all I have to say. I've chased the kids in and out of your backyards. They're going to escape just like they have before. Thank you.